Hey guys, how's it going? It's Chris here. I'm a 25-year-old turning 26 stay-at-home mom who's doing podcasts as a hobby. You know? If you guys haven't already checked out, please check out my other podcast of Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. It is the exact same thing as you would think, Twilight, but this time in Edward's point of view. Ooh. Anyways, we get to truly see the Predator and Edward. So, yeah, check the description. I'll put the link below and just, copy and paste into your URL. And that would be amazing. Just seeing one or two new views, I get so happy. You guys have no idea how excited I get whenever I see the number go up by one. I would start screaming if I see one follow or one subscriber. You guys have no idea how excited, how happy I get whenever I see any one of the numbers change. Anyway, so in the previous episode, we learned that Clementine can see ghosts. Clementine, most of the ghosts they can see, but they can't hear her. She's confused of why, but she can hear them perfectly fine. She can feel weird things whenever they go through her. This little toddler told her to run, so I'm excited to see what happens next. And I want to know, how big is a snake? Because at the moment, in my mind, I'm picturing Harry Potter Baliscus. Oh, I really don't remember the name. All I remember starts with a B. Anyways, that Harry Potter snake from the Chamber of Secrets. That's what I'm imagining in my head right now. Okay, so this is going to be the chapter readings of chapter 10 and 11. So let's dive right into it. Chapter 10, Spilling All the Teeth. I still can't believe he's replying to me, but in his words register and a sick trepidation grows inside me. What does that mean? What? I break off as a sudden bang echoes through down the hallway. I break off as a sudden bang echoes down the hallway, followed by a loud, bone-chilling roar. One that doesn't sound nearly as muffled as it should. What the fuck is that? Lewis demands, his silver eyes wide and Moira's a little wild. Before I can answer, a massive shadow lumbers into view that renders both me and Lewis speechless. It's nothing like I've seen or heard of in my life. It's unnaturally large. Wolf-like body, has a serpentine head covered in fiery amber eyes. Hissing snakes ready to strike have replaced its upper extremities, and when it opens its mouth, its palate, gums, and tongue are covered in a giant, knife-like teeth. It gives a low, ominous growl, and I watch in horror as all those teeth clatter to the floor, some of them hitting us, slicing us open as they fall. And much to our horror, new ones immediately grow back in their place, turning its gaping maw into a brand new horror show. Run, Clementine! Lewis screams as he scrambles backwards, but I'm already moving, his terrified yelps adding to the frigid terror inside me as we race for the staircase at the end of the hall. Fuck the Trinklers, screw the ghosts, because it seemed like Uncle Carter didn't exactly do a good job securing that loose door. Because the monster behind us is nothing short of all my worst nightmares. And right now, it has all of its many glowing eyes currently fixated on us. We start to run. I'm too terrified to look behind me. But the creepy clattering sound of its teeth make as they hit the floor keeps getting closer. How many times a day can one creature lose its teeth anyway? I push harder, run faster, but I'm still not fast enough. Something strikes my shoulder, and a weird tingling numbness flows down my arm. I glance back just in time to see one of the dozen snakes that make up the monster's arms retracting and another one coil as it gets ready to strike at me again. What the fuck is that thing? Lewis yells over me, besides something straight out of a horror movie. I'm running so hard I don't even have enough breath to answer as I weave to the left, trying to get out of the strike zone. It doesn't work. The snakes are too damn long. Another one catches me on my lower back, its teeth sinking in fast and hard. I twist to the right, dislodge it, and keep going. The rattling sound that comes with every step it takes tells me that though it managed to get free from its pen. It is still chained, but it seems like the chain is long enough to reach most, if not all of the way down the hall. Because that seems like a really banner decision on Uncle Carter's part. Run faster, I urge Lewis as one of the snakes grabs him by the ankle and brings him down. Lewis manages to kick himself free and keeps sprinting. One of the snake's hands comes flashing towards my head. I duck to avoid it. But then the creature releases all of its teeth again in a hailstorm of sharp blades. I try to shield myself, but it's futile. The teeth, acting as natural daggers, make quick work slicing at my skin. Lewis reaches over me to pull me out of danger zone. I shoot him a grateful look, even as I yell, "Keep going!" The monster shrieks again, and suddenly, it's going for my best friend instead of me. Its long snake fingers wrapping around Lewis's forearm. Lewis whirls around to let out a long, low snarl that might be the most terrifying sound I've ever heard him make. The monster must think so too, because it rears back for a moment before responding in kind. But a moment is all Lewis needs to free himself. We take off one last time, aiming for the staircase. We even make it to the second step before the beast grabs onto me again. It wraps its snakes around my waist and starts pulling me backwards. A scream sticks in my throat as I desperately try to pull myself from its grasp. But it's got a hold of me now, and it's not letting go. Lewis positions himself on the next step and he tries grabbing the snakes from around my waist, 2 at a time, but every time he pries 2 more take their place in like a siphon nightmare. Just go, I tell Lewis as the creatures bare its teeth again. Get out of here! Hell no! Lewis looks beyond insulted at my words, but now I'm too busy trying to squirm away to care. Desperate, terrified, with my heart slamming against my ribs, I do the only thing I could think of. I lift my left leg and kick backwards as hard as I can. I may not have my powers, but I'm a manicore strong. When my heel connects with its knee, it does so with a sickening crunch. The monster bellows in rage, swaying violently, and the snakes hiss miserably as they unwind themselves around my arms, their fangs catching me in several places and raking through my skin. Move! Lewis yells. I surge forward, racing for the steps like my life depends on it. Probably because it does. Behind us, the creature has recovered too. It extends all 4 twisted, slithering hands towards us just as it reaches the end of its teeth. It lets out a sound that is half hiss, half roar, and all terrifying. But I don't look back as Lewis and I pound up the stairs. We get to the top, all but collapsing onto the hallway as the doors close behind us. Before either of us can so much as catch our breath, Roman, a hall troll, pops up, demerit book in hand. Clementine, you're not supposed to run on the stairs. This is your second offense this week. I'm gonna have to write you 2 up. Are you serious? Lewis snarls indigently. The troll just tisk. He rips off our demerit slips and hands them to us. Have a nice rest of your day, he tells us. Oh, and get that bleeding under control, will you? You know it's against the student safety code, and I'd really hate to have to write you up again today. And he turns and stomps his way back up the hallway. A loud burst of thunder shakes the whole building. Roman lets out a loud squeal as he jumps about 3 feet in the air, drops his clipboard. If it all takes is a little thunder to freak him out, Lewis snarls. I hate to see what he'd do if that thing made it up the stairs. Drop more than his clipboard, probably. Lewis turns to look at me blankly, and then we both crack up. Because it's either that or we cry. And there's no way in hell I'm facing Jude with red puffy eyes. Chapter 11. How to Spell Disaster. Once Lewis and I pull ourselves together, which takes a few minutes, I text Uncle Christopher. This time I tell him that if I die, he'll have my mother to answer to, so fix the goddamn lock. It's amazing how a near-death experience helps you stand your ground. I'm going to try and get cleaned up before class, Lewis tells me. I've already texted Eva and let her know we're done early. You're the best, Lewis. We both know I'm talking about more than a text. He just rolls his eyes before heading down the hall. Can we at least try for an uneventful afternoon? No promises, I call back with the same ounce of snark I have inside me. No shit! Lewis must be tired because he doesn't even bother to flip me off. When I get to the bathroom, I have to spend a few minutes calming Eva down. When she catches sight of me before I can clean myself up. A few dabs of her concealer on my face looks presentable, as long as no one looks too closely, and a bun does the same for my hair. As for the rest of me, a new uniform shirt isn't going to cover half the damage, so instead I slip on a hoodie again, despite the steaming hot weather, and hope many of my injuries don't bleed through their bandages. Are you sure you're okay? Eva asked for like the 1,000th time, and the bathroom door slammed shut behind us. I'm good, I assured her, which is a stretch. But it has more to do with the fact that I'm about to sit down with Jude than it does with the fact that I just faced some freakish monster. Eva looks doubtful, but she gives me a little hug and whisper, "Give him hell," before heading to her anger management class. I got about 10 minutes before class starts, so I text Serena again to see how her interview went. Surely, she's done by now. I also make a mental note to call her tonight so I can hear the whole story. If things are good, we can celebrate. If they aren't, I can listen to her cry. But she still hasn't answered by the time I get to Brit Lit. So I shove my phone in my pocket and take a few deep breaths to calm the overactive butterflies that have suddenly taken up residence in my stomach. A couple of vamps walk by as I do, eyeing me like they're contemplating what I taste like. I'm sure they can smell my bleeding wounds. I have absolutely no energy for dealing with their shit today, so I keep my gaze on the ground as I start into my class. But before I could walk inside, someone calls my name. I turn to see Caspian coming up behind me, a concerned look on his face. His dark brown hair is tucked in a black baseball cap with Calder Academy spelled out in the same bright red as his polo shirt, shoes, and backpack. Basically, he looks like a walking billboard for this damn school, which, now I think about it, is exactly what he is. Oh God, he runs his hand over the back of his neck as he looks me up and down. You already heard? Heard what? I asked as I start to brush past him. I'm not in the mood for Caspian's over-the-top drama today. Besides, I'm still pretty bitter over the college announcement, even if it's not his fault. But he blocks the door. The second my eyes met his, I realize something is actually very wrong. His eyes are wide and dark with concern, even before he throws his arms around my shoulder and says, "I'm so sorry." Instinctively, I go onto tiptoes to wrap him in a hug. Sorry about what? I ask, completely confused. He looks and sounds like he's about to cry. What happened? I demand. Even a dark, restless feeling invades my chest. Tell me. It's not a request, and he looks at my cousin's face. And the look on my cousin's face says he knows that, but he still presses his lips together to show a reluctance that is totally unlike him. Usually, Caspian loves nothing more than to prove he's in more of the know than everyone around him, which is why his hesitance has a chill running down my spine, one that directly bellies in the fact that the humidity from the incoming storm has completely overwhelmed the building's ancient air conditioning. He sighs, then, in an even more alarming gesture, he takes his hand in his. There's no good way to tell you. It's about Serena. Serena? What's wrong with Serena? Terror strikes in the lightning outside at the sound of my friend's name, eviscerating my insides and sending shocks through every part of my body as I wait for him to say what I so desperately don't want to hear. Not Serena, not Serena, not Serena. Please not Serena, with her laughing brown eyes and too big smile and even bigger heart. But all I can think about is being stuck on red. Please, 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 not Serena. My cousin shakes his head sadly. We just got the news this morning. She died last night. She was conjuring a spell and lost control. By the time the authorities could get to her, she was. My knees go liquid at his words, and for one terrifying second, I'm afraid I'm going to hit the cracked floor. But then I manage to lock them in place. No weakness, I remind myself. I curl up my hands in a fist, digging my fingernails into my palms, and let a tiny pricks of pain keeping me from spinning completely out of control as Caspian's voice trails off before he can even finish the story. But then, he doesn't finish it. I already know what happened. The same thing happened to so many Calder Academy graduates when their magic comes flooding back. unchecked and more powerful than ever, being suppressed for so long. The same thing I've been fearing since she graduated and went off on her own, determined to learn everything about her magic and make up for the 4 years she lost it on the island. But a good luck spell, it doesn't get much more ironic, much more cruel than that. The thought has tears clogging up my throat, but I shove down the urge to cry. Then I lock my shoulders and my jaw as tightly, as emotionlessly as I can. Caspian searches my face for several seconds. I try to tell myself it because he's concerned, not because he looks for a reaction to report back to my mother. Like a good soldier that he is. We've always been close because we're cousins, because we're Cowders. But loyalty? I don't really know how far that goes. I do know that I don't have any desire to test it out right now, especially now if everything inside of me feels like a crystal vase that has already hit the ground. It was bound to happen eventually. It almost always does, I say. Anyway, we should really get to class. That kind of exaggeration, is it? Caspian starts, but he breaks off abruptly because even he can't stomach the lie right now. Or is it just because he can't speak the truth? It's what we do here at Cowder Academy. What we have to do. Squirrel everything soft and hopeful and vulnerable away deep inside, where no one can see it, not even us. It usually even works, until it doesn't. All right, so that was the ending of chapter 10 and 11. All I have to say is, wow, what type of monster are they keeping in the basement? Like, does it have a name? Because now, after reading it, maybe I have to reread the chapter. But I'm kind of picturing, human troll-like with a bunch of snakes, kind of like Cleopatra, Some type of Egyptian multiple snake, but then huge, giant, enormous teeth. Snake head. Oh, I hate snakes. Don't you guys? That is done. It seems like she got pretty beat up of trying to even run away. I wonder if her mom's going to find out that she skipped out on Trinkler duty. Or if her mom even knows really like what else is in the basement. But her uncle sucks for not even checking the lock. Like, he lied in that conclave meeting saying that there's nothing wrong with the security. Bullshit. There is something wrong. It seems like he's too scared of Clementine's mother. Well, things seem to be getting serious. But other than Clementine and Louis running away, I'm happy they got it out, mostly, at least alive. Clementine's friend, like her best friend that graduated last year, Serena, she died. She died over using her spell was too powerful for her and she couldn't control her magic. Like, wow. It's kind of surprising that that's heard of with many of the Cowder graduates. But now, if that's a common thing, wouldn't they teach, like, give back some of the powers maybe in the last graduating year so they can, figure a way out or slowly reintroduce it? You know what I mean? They gotta fix something here if this is a common issue. Cowder Academy just is seeming more and more, dangerous, not just with the people in there, but all the creatures that's lurking around. I'm wondering, why is everyone so afraid of Clementine's mother? Like, yes, she's the headmistress, but what really can she do? Like, she has to be powerful to have people scared of her like that, Like, something has had to happen in the past. Don't you guys think? Well, thank you for listening to this podcast. If you guys can please check out my other podcast. It's with Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer, or Meyer. I have no idea how you pronounce her last name. I probably should search it up. Oh, well. But that book is exactly Twilight, but in Edward's point of view. We get to see what he was thinking and everything. It shows his predatory instincts. Anyways, I'll put the link in the description. You just copy and paste into your URL. And that would be amazing if you guys can listen to that one too. Please, like, subscribe if you're listening on my YouTube channel, if you're listening Amazon or Audible, Please share with your friends and family. My YouTube channel is called Chris the Book Podcast. My Twitter/X handle, all depending how old or how young you are, it is at Chris the Podcast. It'll be amazing if you guys can follow, subscribe, and follow, like my channel. I'll also put down my GoFundMe. I'm raising money in order to try and hold a contest, also buy a new mic. So it would be amazing, like even just $1 or $2, that will help out. Or even a few cents. But I understand with this economy, it's very hard anyways. So you don't have to, you just keep listening. Just seeing the number of listens go up, that makes me extremely happy. Thank you guys for listening again. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Anyways, a toodaloo. Bye!